Sports Clash Radio with your hosts, Chad and JC Martin.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Sports Clash Radio. I'm your host Chad Martin along with JC, and we are going to be talking wrestling. I'm excited about it. We had No Mercy this past weekend. Raw, Smackdown, a lot of good things coming up. A lot of good things going to happen. We had a lot of fun with Smackdown Tuesday night. That was kind of funny, some of the things that happened on there.
Right, it was a great night for promos and entertaining segments. Not so great for in-ring competition.
Exactly. And you have to excuse my face. I got burnt this weekend. I was at a book signing and got toasted. It wasn't even supposed to be that hot this weekend. It really wasn't sitting out there, but about 5 hours into it, my face just felt like it was on fire all of a sudden. Now I'm all burnt and scratchy and, God, my skin's peeling. It's kind of nasty, really, is what it is.
And you'll have to forgive my face. I was just born ugly.
He didn't get it from his dad's side of the family. I don't know what happened.
It's just life. It happens.
It happens. Well, let's talk about No Mercy, though. It started out with the main event going on first.
Right.
And they did that because of the debate, even though they came out and said they didn't do it because of the debate, and they were trying to,
well,
come on, just call it for what it is. I have way more respect for you, but that's why they did it.
Believe me, WWE, I like you more than the debate anyway.
Exactly. It was far more entertaining. You have the World Championship top triple threat match at AJ Styles, who's the champion, went against John Cena and Dean Ambrose. Really good match. I enjoyed it. Nice. Look, we were reading Twitter after it was over with. You see everybody's commenting. People were hating on this match because they weren't happy that AJ Styles cheated to retain his belt. He is a heel.
All right, some people just aren't happy that he won, and other people aren't happy that he cheated to win.
Exactly. He's a heel. Heels cheat. That's what they do.
Right. And that's what makes AJ so phenomenal. Outside of his natural athleticism and all the stuff that he's trained for and worked for, is the fact that he is so good as a heel that people want to cheer him. It's the same thing with Seth Rollins.
Yep.
He was so good that people wanted to cheer him. But like Seth Rollins, AJ is so good at being a heel that he will still get you. He'll find a way to get you to boo him.
Exactly, and he does a perfect job of it. I thought it was an excellent match, and these matches aren't in any order. I just knew that one was first, and I know which one's last.
I didn't really, when I watched it, I didn't care for it being finished with just two chair shots.
Yeah.
Like one to the gut, one to the back, and that was it. And I think that's because I grew up during the Attitude Era where
chair shots were every match.
Right, which,
it took several to
it got oversaturated, but still, and I know that WWE has their big thing against concussions, and that makes sense for the safety of performers, but one chair shot to the dome makes a lot more sense than beating John Cena by hitting him in his unusually large back one time with the chair.
Yeah, if he was going to do the back shot, you just should have laid into it several times
right.
and then done it.
And I don't mind the chair shots. He could have done the chair shots, then done the Styles Clash on the chair, and I would have been okay with it.
Yeah, but good match. Love the finish of it. Awesome job there. You had, and here's where we get into stuff. You had Nikki Bella and Carmella. Nikki Bella defeated Carmella.
Okay.
Well, Baron Corbin defeated Jack Swagger.
Okay.
Didn't even care at all about this match in the least. Now, we did have Naomi and Alexa Bliss in the match that made me wanted to scratch my eyeballs out. It was god-awful. There was no build-up, and then for some reason you have Naomi win when you're trying to make everybody believe that Alexa Bliss is the number one contender, and the way she went over.
At least they were consistent on SmackDown and had Naomi go over again.
Exactly.
So at least she's building some momentum with wins,
Yeah, because then it would have been really bad.
Right, and we know that this is scripted entertainment, and wins don't essentially matter.
But still, it's logical storytelling.
If you have no momentum, you need those wins to build momentum for that character.
Right. Story.
We can't believe Naomi is a threat when she's been largely irrelevant for her career.
And speaking about that, you have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Yeah, Heath Slater and Rhino. They defeated the Usos, and we talked about this last week. There was no way the Usos were not winning this match, and they don't win the match. But I really enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the story. And it's kind of like what we were talking about last night. You made the comment that it looks like they're actually starting to do something with Heath Slater and actually at least try to make him relevant, because he's not a bad worker in any stretch of the imagination. He's really good in there if you give him a chance. And I think they're finally saying, you know what, for all the garbage we put you through, we're going to throw you a little bit of a bone here. And this is
Heath Slater's, kind of taking the ball and running with it. Of course, the Usos, I feel like, are the best tag team act on SmackDown by far right now.
Absolutely.
But I thought it was cool that last night on SmackDown, after the Spirit Squad and Miz were beating on Ziggler, they actually had Slater and Rhino run out there for the save. And, it wasn't done in a comical way. Heath Slater didn't trip on his boots on the way to the ring and face plant on the ramp or anything like that. They actually made it to the ring, cleared house, and then, fended off the bad guys as they retreated to the locker room.
Exactly.
And actually had a really cool backstage promo with Heath Slater and Rhino.
And props to Heath Slater, man. Good job for hanging in there and just sticking with it and finally getting yours, and you should. I mean, well deserved.
The haircut was a good choice.
Exactly. Now, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, that was the main event of the night, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it because it was not the match of the night. Bray Wyatt defeats Randy Orton. Luke Harper shows back up at the end of the match. Lights go off. Come back on. Luke Harper standing in the middle of the ring. Distracts Orton long enough for Bray to hit the Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3. Right. That was pretty much the end of that. And they even carried that over into Smackdown Tuesday night. So we'll talk about that in a little bit.
And I love Bray Wyatt because, he's not necessarily the best worker. He's not necessarily the best promo. But he is single-handedly the most intriguing character in all of WWE, and he's the last of a dying breed of actually legitimate, true characters.
Exactly, and just the shock of them actually giving him a pay-per-view win. I mean, I'm surprised they did it.
What's the fact that he appeared on the pay-per-view at all?
It's just been ridiculous, this whole thing, but just misused in so many ways.
But you put him over on a 12-time champion, Randy Orton, so...
Yeah. Well, it's about time. They needed to. They need to make him a real threat to things. But the match of the night was the Intercontinental Championship match. I mean, Dolph Ziggler and The Miz put on a show. Their story has been so well done over the last few weeks.
The build-up for the match was great.
Exactly.
And kudos to the writing team, kudos to Ziggler, kudos to Miz for not only taking what was written, but making it believable, relatable, and emotional.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And
they
this
did a
match,
great job.
It had so many spots where you thought, oh, this could legitimately be it. Like, Dolph's gone. He's out the door. But then, he pulled out the win. And I love that he's using the super kick as the finish now.
Me too.
Because the one thing that makes the super kick so special, the same thing that makes the RKO special, is it can come out of anywhere at any time.
He throws it so well.
And when it hits, especially if you have someone who can sell well, and they take that bump, it's like, all right, the lights are off, no one's home, so
it's out, it's over with.
Hit them, it's over, it's done.
He did a great job. And what made it even more intriguing about all those false finishes they were doing was the fact that it had come out the day before that when one of the promos in one of the towns for an upcoming show for SmackDown, they were talking about a retrospective on
Dolph Ziggler's
career and stuff. So that got around the internet, and everybody's like, "Oh crap, maybe he is going to lose." So that place popped huge when that match was over.
Ziggler actually referenced that in his promo to start off SmackDown, so that was fun.
Yeah. So really well done by those guys. I loved it. I love the fact that Miz has made himself relevant. And people. I even read a stupid article today. I read part of it because it just got so ignorant that I couldn't read it anymore. Talking about just how, Miz, nobody wanted to see that. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? Everybody is tuned in to see this. It was one of the matches that sold this pay-per-view that people wanted to see.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons I wanted to see it, because he's done a hell of a job. And they're talking about Maurice and things like that and how, why is she back there and would she bring him down? I think they make a perfect pair.
Yeah, she hasn't brought him down at all. If anything, she's enabled Miz to feel more comfortable and really elevate his game.
Exactly, and they've done that. So that was the pay-per-view. What would you rate that pay-per-view?
Like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, that's...
I've seen worse.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely seen worse. It wasn't the greatest thing. I didn't like the match order.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10 just because I liked the main matches. The Ziggler Miz match, the triple threat for the WWE World Heavyweight title, and I like Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton.
Yeah. So, and I didn't mind the tag team match either. So, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad.
Right.
It was entertaining.
I think a 7 out of 10 is fine.
So I think that'd probably be a good deal. All right, let's talk about Raw. They are getting ready for their big show. And
Hell in a Cell.
Which was, I think is going to be, you should see some pretty good matches. This should be a really, really good pay-per-view. But you have the Sasha Banks started off the night challenged Charlotte to a Hell in a Cell. So you have the champion challenging the challenger to a match in Hell in a Cell.
That's not even the thing for me. To me, it's two women actually getting inside Hell in a Cell.
First time.
And, one of the things that really blew me away at the last WWE pay-per-view, and I'm not sure if it was at the last Raw pay-per-view or if it was the match between Charlotte and Sasha on Raw where Sasha won the championship back. But Charlotte, she does the moonsault off the top rope to the outside. Well, she did like a corkscrew moonsault. And I thought that was really cool. If Charlotte does that off the top of the cell, I will lose it. Like, I might destroy things in my home.
It will be insane
I'm just
if she
throwing
did
that out
something
there.
like that. She may not wrestle ever again, but it would be insane if she doesn't land right on that. But she does it, pulls it off. Wow, that could be spot of the night. Kofi Kingston, he defeated Cesaro.
It was a pretty good match.
Yes, it was.
I don't care for the Sheamus Cesaro pairing. I've been on here saying that before. But I love New Day, and I do love Cesaro.
Yeah.
He is, without a doubt, one of the best just all-around wrestlers in WWE. Maybe not the greatest interview, the greatest promo worker, but as far as in-ring technician, I don't think it gets that much better than Cesaro.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so they had a pretty fun match.
Yeah, Bailey defeated Cammy Fields.
Yeah, I don't care.
So it didn't matter.
I like
It's nice
Bayley.
seeing Bailey.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
really
like
was,
Bailey. She's
so.
good.
That was great.
I loved her matches with Asuka in NXT, but Cammy Fields, we don't know you. We don't care.
Yeah, so Sin Cara is continuing his cruiserweight little thing now. So
I like Sin Cara in the cruiserweight. I kind of feel like I understand why they didn't put him in the Cruiserweight Classic since he's already a contracted member of the main roster.
Yeah.
But I think that's the right call. I think it's a little gimmicky having him team up with Lince Dorado. But all in all, I think him as a singles wrestler in the Cruiserweight division could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, what do you think about him defeating Tony Nese and Drew Gulak?
I don't like it because Tony Nese was put over on Rich Swann the last week.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I really like Rich Swann. I was like, if you're going to push anyone in this Cruiserweight division, push Rich or Cedric Alexander because those dudes are awesome. Which, Tony Nese won me over last week with how he performed.
Yeah, he did a good job.
And Drew Gulak's good, but I really don't think Cara and Dorado should have gotten the victory here.
Yeah, Gallows and Anderson, they attacked Enzo and Big Cass and looked awesome doing it. Looked just mean. It was
Luke
great.
Gallows, I thought he just killed Enzo Amore with the first strike when they first hit the ring. Man, he absolutely clubbed Enzo. So that looked great. And of course, I want to get behind the club. I want a reason to cheer for Gallows and Anderson or boo Gallows and Anderson, what
Whichever
have
case
you.
may be, but
this, if they keep this kind of style up, which we've talked about ad nauseum before, this is the team that they are. This is what they need to be. So if they keep coming out here and just beating guys down and looking impressive while they do it, even though Enzo kind of botched the boot of doom because he started selling it way too soon, but they're starting to give me a reason to get invested in Gallows and Anderson. I'm already invested in Enzo and Cass because they're two of the best talkers in the entire company right now. So I like the whole segment.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, William, and Neville, they defeated Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. You have two former NXT heavyweight champions, and this is what they're relegated to.
All right, well, you actually had 3 in this match.
Yeah, true enough.
Bo Dallas is there.
Yeah.
See, people forget he's even an NXT champion. That's how irrelevant he is.
That's so sad. That is a sad, sad thing. R-Truth defeated Titus O'Neil. Why? And I love R-Truth. I'm an R-Truth fan. Just as a person and a human being, I love R-Truth. He's a cool guy.
Speaking of R-Truth, though, he had a segment with Chris Jericho. It was a payday sponsorship segment.
That's right.
Man, that was so funny. Oh, and I don't even think it was that much R-Truth was funny, but how Jericho sold it at the end.
Yeah. So
I did say I didn't want it, you stupid idiot.
That's exactly it. Braun Strowman defeated the Splash Brothers.
Okay. I don't care.
I don't either.
Put someone out there.
we were talking last night, and you were talking it's probably going to be another big guy, so we would probably see Big Show here.
I'm cool with
soon,
Big Show. I'm cool with Mark Henry.
I would love to see Big Show and Braun Strowman go down. I mean, I like Braun Strowman. I think he is a freakishly huge and awesome athlete. And I just want to see him going against.
I actually thought his promos the last couple weeks have been okay.
Exactly.
They've been a lot better than anything he ever said with the Wyatt family.
Yeah, definitely. I think they give him a shot. It's probably the reason they brought him in there. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about him outside of this character and who he was before, so cut the big guy loose, and they're probably just waiting on something to really give him to sink his teeth into.
He needs someone to work. But I think the problem with sticking him out there with Big Show and Mark Henry is that at this point, everyone who's anyone in this company has beaten both of them.
Yeah,
numerous times.
You need to put him in there with somebody he can get a good, solid, high-profile win with and see what happens. Sasha Banks and Roman Reigns defeated Charlotte and Rusev in an intergender match,
which was highly entertaining.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the match.
I thought the pairing of Sasha Banks and Roman Reigns worked very well together.
Yeah,
as far as like chemistry there.
The whole Charlotte and Rusev thing was all kinds of crazy anyway, just from what happened earlier in the night with the very opening promo, which I loved. I thought that was entertaining as crap. I mean, that was great, but it was kind of weird though because Sasha and Charlotte are supposed to be enemies, and they double drop kick Rusev and kick him out of the ring. You see why they did it, because Rusev and Lana are kind of an island unto themselves out there, really.
Right.
So I didn't have a problem with any of it. I'm just stating that as a fact. I didn't have a problem with any of it. I was entertained by it, and that's really what you want at the end of the day. Then we had Paul Heyman coming out, challenging Goldberg.
Goldberg!
And if you're going to have anybody do it, Paul Heyman's the guy to get that done.
Right.
As usual, money on the mic. He's going to be the guy that's going to get you invested in this match in the first place.
He can sell ice to an Eskimo. So.
He can. So, because we got the announcement Goldberg's coming out on Raw next week to, accept this challenge.
And we've talked about on the show before how I don't think that Brock Lesnar's really doing the show any service.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Brock Lesnar, but I just genuinely don't care about Brock Lesnar because I know what I'm going to get from Brock Lesnar every week or every other month.
Yeah, every couple months.
I stated last week that I don't like Goldberg.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of him. He was athletic. That's cool, but he didn't do a lot. He definitely didn't say a lot, and he definitely never entertained me.
No, but what he did do was draw a crowd, and the fans who loved Goldberg were into it. You could listen to some of those old WCW, watch some of those old videos, and they were nuts for Goldberg. This will be a Survivor Series match.
But
so I
really
wish I'd wait for WrestleMania for it, but it's going to be a Survivor Series match.
But going back to Paul Heyman and his ability to sell anything, that's why I will watch this match.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be interesting. You had T.J. Perkins defeated this guy's name I cannot say.
Arya Davari.
There you go. Sounds good.
Little brother of former WWE wrestler Davari.
So that wasn't a bad little match. Just not enough time.
Right, and I think that's the one thing that's going to hurt the Cruiserweight division. Because, for whatever reason, Raw can fit in 6 matches in 3 hours, or 7 matches in 3 hours, but SmackDown can only do 3 and 2, which makes no sense to me. But if they're going to do all these matches, that's the problem with them, is they have to cut time on them.
They need to make, but that's why you shouldn't have R-Truth and Titus O'Neil taking up time when you can extend another match in quick. Because honestly, with R-Truth and Titus, it's great for those guys that you're giving them some TV time, but you're not furthering any kind of story or angle or anything else. So give that to your champion, your Cruiserweight champion.
Which their build-up for the R-Truth Titus O'Neil match was on WWE's Facebook page.
Yeah.
They did a segment where Titus came in and accused R-Truth of stealing the payday gig from him and all this. Titus is trying to build the Titus brand. But no one cares, Titus.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm glad you have a job. I'm glad you're providing for your kids. I'm glad you're a great dad. But I don't care about your wrestling character.
Yeah, exactly. He needs... Hopefully one day he'll find something that's going to stick with the crowd, but he's going to have to eventually... I don't know what it's going to be. And you never can tell when that can happen. I mean, it happens.
I think it goes back to the 50-50 booking that WWE is so fond of. Because Titus O'Neil could get a big win one week and a bad loss the next.
I know, I don't. I just don't.
If you want him to be a monster, let him be a monster. Because I can get into it. Give him a microphone and let him be himself.
He's not a bad talker.
Because he's entertaining.
He is. We've heard him out there on commentary a few times.
And he's a riot.
Awesome. He is so awesome like that.
So let him loose. Let him do his thing.
But they've got it's just. There's an old saying in the film industry and stuff. You can have a perfect script if you have, or you can have the best actors. But if you have a sorry script and bad writing, no amount of acting can overcome that. And vice versa. If you have a really great script and sorry actors, don't matter how good your script is, it's going to blow chunks at the end. And that's what we're seeing a lot with Tyson there, with Titus. I mean, Seth Rollins defeated Chris Jericho to keep him out of that championship match and not make it a triple threat, which I'm glad they're not doing a triple threat match. That seems to be all WWE does, like these triple threat matches for these titles. But I think we really saw another little crack in the wall of the Owens-Jericho friendship. They're slow playing that breakup right there. And this is just another little...
Man, we've talked about Jericho so much on the show because Jericho is that awesome. I mean, he's 46, 47 years old, and he's still outclassing so many of these 20-year-olds.
It's just amazingly entertaining.
And so, I mean, you knew that coming out there, you were going to get a great match between Rollins and Chris Jericho, and they did not disappoint at all.
It was just good stuff. That brought Raw to a close. And then we had Smackdown, and just what you were talking about, but really there wasn't any matches to speak of on here. We had Dolph Ziggler; he defeated the Spirit Squad,
and that was after he cut a really solid promo.
Yes, he did, and that was great.
And Miz came out there and interrupted.
Yeah, they had him and Maurice dressed all in black.
Right, and this match between Ziggler and the Spirit Squad wasn't bad. I mean,
it was entertaining.
It was a solid handicap match. I wouldn't give it like a huge rating, maybe. 2 out of 5, or however you want to break that down. But at the same time, like I said, it wasn't a great story, but Dolph Ziggler's super kick was very effective looking here. And it kind of looks like the Spirit Squad might stick around for a little while.
Yep.
And maybe WWE might have some interest in bringing Kenny back.
It might be. You can repackage him, do something with that.
Because you think it's been 10 years since he debuted, and he was only 19 then. The kid's only 29 now.
So he's still got plenty of wrestling left in him if he wants to do it. SmackDown Live issued their challenges to Raw for the Survivor Series, which I love.
Yeah, I do. I like the 5-on-5 women's match, the Raw women versus SmackDown women. I like the 5-on-5 Raw men versus SmackDown men, and I like the 5-on-5 tag team versus tag team, which will get muddy just because that's too many bodies on a ring apron.
Yeah, so a lot of people.
You're going to have to do a lot of mat-based wrestling.
Yes, you got 20 people lined up around that ring. Right there, standing on those.
Right.
It's gonna be crazy.
And I'm curious how this elimination thing is gonna work. Is it gonna be
the tag teams?
Well, yeah. So if your partner gets defeated, are you out too, or is it just gonna be one guy's out and then the other half?
Well, that's how they've done it in the past. If your tag team partner gets beat, your team is gone. So it goes the same way like with singles. My real thought was, all right, you're talking about having our 5 singles against your best 5 singles. All right, well...
Aren't 2 of your best singles the champs?
I was going to say, that's going to be minus your champions is what that's going to look like because you have to have those guys defend those belts.
Now, you could probably get away with putting the mid-card belts on there. You could put Roman Reigns on Raw and you could put Ziggler on the SmackDown team. So that
Which I think would be awesome.
But you could also still put Rusev on that team on Raw and you could put Miz on that team on SmackDown.
And then do some good filler talent in there.
You could have them, cost... Rusev could cost Roman or Roman could cost Rusev. And vice versa with Miz and Ziggler. I
miss the old Survivor Series matches. When Survivor Series first started, it was one of my favorite events because I looked forward to it every year. Like the Rumble, again, it's one of the reasons why it's one of the big 4 events of the year because it was
gimmicks, man.
Gimmicks are
gotta
awesome.
love them.
You had Naomi defeated Carmella.
At least we got the consistency following No Mercy with Naomi winning.
Jimmy Uso defeated Chad Gable.
Which wasn't a spectacular match, but I loved how the Usos executed the finish because Jimmy's got Chad Gable in the roll-up of doom. But what made it okay was the fact that Jay hopped up on the apron and put both feet in his brother's back to push Jimmy over to get more leverage.
That's right.
So that was well done. That was a good heel spot for him. So I don't really have a problem with the way it got played out.
My favorite thing of the night, AJ Styles. When he came out there, he was cutting his promo and Dean Ambrose interrupts him. AJ was already telling us he's going to give somebody a championship shot that night, and Dean comes out, and he's like, "No, you're not getting anything." And then he introduces James Ellsworth out there. Then he makes it a non-title match, and Dean Ambrose is losing his mind, and James Ellsworth is the funniest looking dude. I mean, he has no chin.
No chin.
It is weird.
He has no chin. He has the most popular haircut in America right now, but it's dyed bleach blonde, which looks bad. And then he's got like a terrible prison tattoo of the Offspring logo.
Oh, that's right. It's craziness, but it works for who he is.
He is indie wrestling at its finest.
He is, and the fact that they put him out there and let him do that and have a moment like he's had, he's been on there several times already. Because Daniel Bryan comes out and says, you know what? We are going to make this match. Dean Ambrose is going to stay out there, but he's going to be the special referee in this match. You knew right then that there was no way AJ Styles was walking out of this match without being beat until they did a false finish that looked like that might just be the case.
And the match was a comedy match.
It was.
I mean, it was there just to be entertaining, which is what I like about Ellsworth going over in the match, because it was a comedy match throughout. Dean Ambrose is out there eating popcorn, signing pictures, taking selfies, answering the phone in the middle of the match while AJ Styles had the pin on Ellsworth. Stuff like that, like little campy things. He did the leg trip on Styles as Styles was chasing Ellsworth, who has the most humorous run in the history of forever. So he gets in the ring, he gets tripped. So things like that. So with with Styles taking 2 dirty DDTs, of course he kicked out of the first one, the second one put him down.
And a fast count by Ambrose.
Right, and a fast count by Ambrose.
Nothing that hurts AJ at all.
Nothing about that match hurt AJ Styles, which I did see a lot of people complaining about on Twitter.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
You can't have your champ losing to some nobody on the show and blah, blah, blah. If you do it right,
you can.
It's effective and it makes sense and it doesn't bury AJ Styles' credibility.
Only a moron believes that hurts AJ Styles in any way, because if you watch that match, you're going, well, really?
AJ beat the brakes off that kid.
He did, and it had nothing to do with AJ Styles' inability to beat Ellsworth at all. It was all about Dean Ambrose screwing with AJ Styles. That was the point of it. So, I mean, some of these people who comment on wrestling just don't, because you're embarrassing. You embarrass people who actually care about the story and being entertained by wrestling. I see that and my brain hurts. I get the brain pain so bad when I read some of this garbage.
Well, and then Daniel Bryan came on. He didn't come on to Talking Smack. He hosts Talking Smack with Renee Young immediately after Smackdown and after he had James Ellsworth on there and announced that James Ellsworth will be facing AJ Styles once again next week on SmackDown for the WWE World Title.
Oh, he's going to get the brakes beat off of him so bad. But he got killed. That was one of the things we were watching.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Styles Clash?
The Styles Clash spot.
In wrestling, you're taught to always tuck your chin. Well, there's a few exceptions. Taking the Styles Clash is one of the exceptions where you don't tuck your chin.
Because since he's dropping you on your face, if your chin's down, you're going to catch the top of your head on the mat.
Oh, and he sure did.
And you can either get knocked out or you can break your neck. That's why on the Styles Clash, you take your head back.
Exactly.
And Ellsworth certainly tucked his chin, and he certainly got messed up.
Oh, he got just hammered. Oh, my goodness, that felt rough. The main event, Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper defeated Randy Orton and Kane. Randy Orton finds Kane through the bowels of the thing, which I didn't mind the setup. Kane actually got some pretty decent applause out of that when he showed up. And
I didn't think the match was bad.
I didn't either.
I just thought the finish was intriguing.
I did too. I didn't hate that match. I didn't hate the end of it either. I thought, okay, so what are they gonna do with this whole thing?
You didn't know if someone was just gonna show up, or when they cut the lights back on, they'd have some weapons or something crazy. But
I actually thought it was gonna be Sister Abigail. I'm ready to see this incarnation.
We've been waiting for that for
Survivor
years.
Series maybe.
And then but the lights come back on and Kane's gone altogether.
Yeah.
He's just not there anymore. So Randy Orton's by himself against Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt, and he turns around and runs right into the Sister Abigail, which the move kind of got botched, but you know what it's supposed to be. It still served its purpose. So I actually like the momentum that Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper are building right now.
Yeah, so that actually is going to be interesting. I can't wait until next week just to see what they're going to do with the whole Kane situation and what happened with him. So good build up there. Not a bad little thing. It's finally catching my interest these last 2 weeks what this one has. So, well, there you go. We've talked wrestling a lot. We're heading into Hell in a Cell, and then right after Hell in a Cell, 3 short weeks really until we've got Survivor Series, which I am so jacked for. It makes my Thanksgiving. Survivor Series, turkey, football. Oh, So it's a good week.
Right.
That whole 10 days in there is going to be awesome.
What I love about Survivor Series, I mean, of course, I love the gimmick of the 5-on-5 match, but it's the last major stop before we get to the build up to Royal Rumble, because Survivor Series was one of your favorites. Yeah. Royal Rumble is my favorite.
Oh, it definitely.
It has lost all of its interest the last 5 years or so, but I for whatever reason, I'm really amped up about it this year. Just because, with Royal Rumble, you never know who's just going to show up for the match.
Exactly.
Some of them might do like a little 3-month stint and then go back to wherever they came from. But it's always fun to see old guys from like your childhood, or for me, like my teenage years or whatever, my early 20s show up and get involved in the match.
I'm interested. I can't wait for the Rumbles. Like you, it's always been one of my favorites. We used to have all the Rumble tapes when you were young and stuff, and lost all those.
Well, granted, there weren't that many of them when I was young.
VHS, people.
The Royal Rumble itself is only a year older than I
If
am.
you've never heard of VHS, look it up. So sad they even have to say that. VHS, what is that? I don't know what he's talking about.
What are these old guys talking about, Mom? It said something about a VHS.
Is that a disease? It really kind of was, because that shit would melt like crazy sometimes.
Do they work for the government?
VHS? Felt like it. So felt like it. I would like to. I wish I still had some of those old VHS tapes, because man, well-worn wrestling, so much fun.
Yeah.
So you guys, you've heard us talking about a lot of stuff tonight, our opinions on a lot of things tonight. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Where do you stand on it? I mean, are you one of those that's mad because AJ Styles put over James Ellsworth? Or do you actually see the benefit in what they're doing, and were you entertained? Because at the end of the day, it's all about entertainment. Let us know your thoughts. You can follow us on patreon.com/Sports Clash. Facebook, Sports Clash. Twitter, Sports Clash Rad. Follow us there. Get in touch with us. Like it. Share it. Help us out. Help us get the word out. All of that good stuff.